We like to consider ourselves a for-profit organization, but with a strong triple bottom line that backs a lot of social development activities in the process. Uh, we try to bring in a win-win situation for multiple stakeholders along the way. So by talking about our core stakeholders, core stakeholder, it's a farmer. If
From
we need
dry-
to
from
address
dryland area.
from dryland areas, of course, if we need to address food security and nutrition security, is really the key. The core stakeholder to address this with is the farmer. At this point in time, with all that's happening globally vis-a-vis climate change, the lack of smart foods, the lack of foods that are climate smart, the lack of foods that are nutrition smart, the lack of foods um, that are resource smart as well. We decided we wanted to focus on millets because essentially we're trying to address and deal with the farmers who are in the lowest level of the socio-economic strata. These are farmers who we've aggregated together, where we have taught them what they could do with millets. We tried to help the government establishments save on money because they don't have to spend on subsidies for fertilizers and pesticides, which farmers otherwise buy on credit in any case. And God forbid the rains fail or the temperatures start increasing, the crop won't fail completely with millets. So instead of rice and wheat, we're trying to focus on crops that are also nutrition smart. So when we've spoken about economics, we've spoken about sustainability, but we're now talking about nutrition, which is something we need to address. India at the moment is becoming the capital for non-communicable diseases, primarily diabetes, cholesterol-related ailments, um, and I feel that we need to find an alternative mass available food. I think millets are a solution for the same. There's vast areas of dryland areas in our country which are not being put to use, fallow land, which I think can become fertile again with zero wastage farming and millet cultivation as well, with farmers who don't need to migrate to urban areas for labor. My mother has her own points of view. She is a very practical person. Sometimes I'm in the clouds and she brings me down to earth. She might have a couple of words to say.
Yes. See, I like to express the difficulties in this business. One is in modern India, people do not know that these millets exist and they're good for health, and it's a very good supplement for rice and wheat to prevent diseases. But many of them do not know how to cook it, and therefore they lie in the shop shelves unsold. And these millets are very fragile grains and they get spoiled. So, this does not encourage many people uh, to do business like they would with rice or wheat. So, that is a bit discouraging. But if we propagate more recipes and create awareness on how to cook it and spread of it, I think it will improve the consumption of the grains. Another problem I've observed is the machinery with which it has been processed. They have only used rice processing machinery, which is existing. So that does not uh, cater to the needs of a millet. The characteristic of a millet is different from that of a rice grain, and the husk is different. And they use mild steel as well. And when the farmer gets these machinery, they last for hardly 6 months and then it's shelved out. So this is very painful and disappointing for them. And it's not very encouraging for them to get these machinery because it has been 3, 4 times that the government has given them subsidies. And this is as much as I have understood by speaking to many farmers and FPOs.
They failed because of the rust formed due to mild steel
Mild steel.
and a lack of operational skills to ensure the optimum performance. Because these machines are not electronic controlled. There's no parameters of control. Different millet.
Yeah.
So from a social angle, we are trying to bring in machinery, and we have brought in machinery as
Done
well,
R&D on it.
and done a lot of R&D on it. We're trying to integrate the global markets with our local markets at the moment, because we're trying to also export or make it possible for people to export these grains, because they'll abide to UNFAO standards. These machines would abide, sorry, to UNFAO standards. So more from a social mobility angle, if we're looking at it, we think that farmers who trying to use something prescribed might lead them to gain social mobility over the medium term and long term. Not the short term, but medium term and long term. So that's something we're looking at, and but we're not going to be in the philosophy of giving. We want people to be able to sustain on them by themselves, and we'll give them solutions for sustainability, and hopefully they'll bring in a hybrid. As an organization, we know our space as well, and we know our place. So I think socially, we also support institutions, and we don't want to get in the way of the institutions as well. Institutions such as ICRISAT, other government agencies, because we feel that they have a lot to contribute. So as a responsible citizen of the world, we just want to be of support and keep things transparent.
Yes.
So that's also something that we think is socially important as a company. It's part of our school of ethics within the organization. Thank you.
And most of the grains, we purchase the grains from the farmers at the price quoted by the FPOs, and most of the price is given over to them. The pricing of the grains goes to the farmers from our organization. The margin is very mild. It's going to take a long time to break even, but that doesn't matter. We understood where we are getting into, what we are getting into, because people do not know how to consume it. Plus, the farmers are very poor who are growing that. So we want them to become wealthy. So that way we have to preserve our margin as very less in a business point of view. And that's how we started this
business. I think that this will win over, even from a business angle. The goodwill we earn for the moment will stand to benefit us for a long time, because we'll have more stakeholders working with us. So it's not purely something where we're in the clouds.
Yeah.
We know that maybe if we work without greed, we'll have more people on our side eventually. So that's the objective.